This is CBC Here and Now.
The debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families.
A devastating discovery in the search for the Titan submersible, as all 5 men aboard are pronounced lost at sea. Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. Well, it was a race against time, an epic search effort that drew resources and expertise from around the world. But this afternoon, the search for OceanGate's Titan submersible came to an end as crews recovered debris from the North Atlantic. Our Heather Gillis is standing by live with details. So Heather, bring us up to speed.
Well, Carolyn, sadly, OceanGate says that all 5 who were on the Titan submersible are dead. Searchers found debris, 5 pieces of it with an ROV on the seafloor about 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic wreckage earlier today. Now, they say that debris was in 2 fields with the nose on one end and another part of the hull on another end of the debris field. Signs that searchers say are consistent with a catastrophic implosion. As the sun dawned over St. John's this morning, it was a grim reminder time to find Titan and its missing crew was slipping away. Its estimated oxygen supply would have likely run out. Early this afternoon, hope evaporated as the U.S. Coast Guard announced an ROV from the Horizon Arctic found a debris field on the seafloor near the Titanic.
This is an incredibly unforgiving environment down there on the seafloor, and the debris is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel.
It's unclear if the bodies of the crew will be recovered, but the Coast Guard says it will keep searching. The debris spans 2 sites near the bow of the Titanic.
That's off the bow of Titanic. It's in an area where there is not any debris of Titanic. It is a smooth bottom. To my knowledge and anything I've seen, there's no Titanic wreckage in that area. And again, 200 plus meters from the bow, and consistent with the location of last communication for an implosion in the water column.
Devastating news after a glimmer of hope yesterday. Canadian aircraft detected underwater noises, sounds of banging. Today began with more ROVs in the water, including one from a French ship, with another on the way from Magellan, a UK company. Hope was alive at the St. John's International Airport, too. A European A400 and 3 American C-17s were mobilizing equipment. St. John's Harbour has been eerily empty. 3 Canadian Coast Guard ships that call it home were out searching, along with local ships. The HMCS Glace Bay, which has a hyperbaric chamber, was on the water too, along with an Air Force Aurora. 9 vessels in total expected now to be sent home over the next 24 hours. Larry Daly, friend of crew member Paul-Henri Nargeolet, was hanging on to hope this morning that the crew would be found alive.
After, I don't want to talk about the after. My buddy's there, and to me, he's not talking in the past. We're good friends, and my hope is I can sit down and have another Iceberg beer with him at Kitty Vitty Brewery.
The friends worked on the Titanic expeditions together, first meeting in 1998. Nargeolet, another passenger aboard Titan, had been to Titanic and its wreck more than 30 times. Daly called him a mentor, a nice man with a wealth of knowledge about deep-sea exploration, a former Navy guy who wouldn't have panicked.
Well, PH would be the Boy Scout in the sub, so I'm sure that he would come up with different things to try and implement, and also probably tell them to, conserve your oxygen, and just relax and don't move around.
As for what this tragedy now means for future dives to the wreckage, Daly says he doesn't know. Now, questions remain on everyone's lips about how this happened, about why this happened. There are talks of an investigation, but the U.S. Coast Guard says it's still too early to say what that could look like. The Coast Guard does say that ROVs will remain in the water. They will keep searching, but it's still unclear whether the bodies of those dead will be recovered and returned to their families. Carolyn?
Thanks, Heather. That's Here and Now's Heather Gillis reporting live. And as we've reported, there were 5 people aboard Titan. Company CEO Stockton Rush, Shahzada Dawood and his son Suleiman Dawood, Hamish Harding and Paul-Henri Nargelet. Now, OceanGate is the company behind the dive. It released the following statement. It says, "These men were true explorers who shared a distinct spirit of adventure and a deep passion for exploring and protecting the world's oceans." The company says its hearts are with these 5 souls and every member of their families during this tragic time. OceanGate goes on to say this is an extremely sad time for their employees who are exhausted and grieving. We'll bring you more on this story ahead on Here and Now.
Time for a check of your forecast. Ryan Snodden in for Ashley tonight and talking about big contrasts across the province today. Nain, just 8 degrees, and you can see where we've had this frontal boundary stalled basically across the northern peninsula and north of Newfoundland. Did squeak up to 30 in Labrador City, 22 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and yeah, the warmth back into the 20s, thankfully, in St. John's today. And that frontal boundary dividing the cooler air and the warmer air off to the south. And that is going to remain in place as we work our way into tomorrow. You can see some showers on tap for Labrador tonight and again on Friday, with the cooler temperatures in the north. Still not too bad temperature-wise, Labrador City to Happy Valley Goose Bay, and another nice one shaping up across the island. We'll talk about that with your full weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Carolyn.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Well, a 39-year-old man in Blaketown has been charged with attempted murder and other violent criminal offenses. The charges include forcible confinement, assault with a weapon, and attempted murder. Those charges allegedly stem from incidents which occurred between April and June of this year. The man was arrested this week and remains in custody. And there are more charges tonight in connection with 2 St. John's men accused of abusing minors. 80-year-old Bruce Escott is now facing 10 charges related to sexual violence as well as sexual assault of a male youth between 2008 and 2012. Escott also faces 2 new charges of sexual assault and forcible confinement involving an 18-year-old male between 1995 and 1996. The accused remain in custody and has appeared in provincial court in relation to these charges. The RNC is still investigating. Representatives from the province's Sudanese community are speaking out tonight, saying more information should be released into a police shooting last Monday in St. John's. Now, the man who was killed hasn't been identified by the authorities, but friends of Omar Mohammed say he is the person who died. Now there's a call for transparency.
We need justice to be served. We need to have more information, and also we need those officers to be accountable. Like, we need a thorough investigation to determine why this is happening, and we need justice to be served, and we need some answer.
Coming up in about 30 minutes on Here and Now, we'll have more on those concerns. Porter Airlines is adding a daily non-stop flight from St. John's to Toronto. This one will fly in and out of Pearson International starting September 7th. That's in addition to the Porter flight that lands at Billy Bishop Airport in the downtown. The new 132-seat flight will depart St. John's at 8 a.m. and will depart from Toronto at 8:15 p.m. An introductory round-trip fare is just under $400. Well, staying in the sky, the snowbirds have swooped into Newfoundland this week. The Canadian Forces Air Team glided into Gander with an air show, and there's another planned for Conception Bay South over the weekend.
Captain Dominic Apolloni. I saw the snowbirds as a kid living on military bases, and then training the new pilots in Moose Jaw, which was my previous posting. You got to see the snowbirds day in, day out practicing their craft, and I just wanted to be part of that. I think they're the most inspiring thing Canadians have, really. It's quite up there on the iconic list, and it's just the ultimate team. So it's really something to aspire to. inspiring to see like the faces of kids who have never seen us before, and it's nice to be a part of that. I was in the cadet program as a kid, and so a lot of aviation there, and then my dad was a Air Force officer as well, and I've got a lot of siblings in the military, so the military was the way to go, and then pilot is one of the best jobs that you can have, I think.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a secret. I can do that, but I can't read a book in the back of a car. Everyone's different, right?
You need to have obviously good hands and feet, good with crowds, good with people, but you also need to be a team player. You need to be honest and humble because you need to admit to your mistakes every day. As a snowbird, there's not really time to be afraid. You're a professional doing your job. I know you're flying fast, but up there it kind of seems slow, and you're just hanging on the wing. Yeah, fear never really becomes part of my job.
Well, it's a big day for many young people in the province, one that students and teachers alike look forward to, the last day of school. We swung by St. Andrew's Elementary in St. John's to speak with some of the young ones prior to the first school bell of the year.
How are you feeling about today being the last day of school?
Kind of sad, kind of happy, because I'm leaving first grade and it was kind of fun being in first grade. I'm being sad, but I'm happy because I'm going to summer camp. Very excited, anxious.
Why are you feeling anxious?
Because I don't want to leave the school.
Why? What was so fun about grade 2 this year?
Learning everything.
What was the most exciting thing you learned this year?
Probably doing the different kinds of art that we did.
What is your favorite kind of art to do?
Probably painting.
What is your perfect summer day?
When it's really sunny and the clouds are out a little bit out, and also there's and also I can go on the trampoline. Sunny, like really sunny.
What would you do?
I'll go to the swimming pool. Probably throwing frisbees out in the yard with the dogs, spending time with my family, out on a picnic.
What do you like to take on a picnic?
Sandwiches and cookies.
Showers in the mix for Labrador, but we'll see more sunshine on tap for Newfoundland on Friday. Your full forecast is coming up.
The sun has come out in St. John's, and that means the city will be opening up its splash pads for another season. Water will flow at the Kenmount Terrace Community Centre and Bannerman Park this Friday, but folks in the West End will have to wait until July 2nd for the pad in Bowring Park to open. The splash pads will open at 9 a.m. and shut off at dusk every day. And for those looking to take a dip in the pool, both Bannerman and Bowring Park pools won't open until July 2nd.
After weeks of rain, drizzle, and fog, summer is finally here. And I'm not just talking about the calendar. In St. John's, we did it. We got 1 day over room temperature. And I'm here to talk to people about how they feel about the pedestrian mall opening just in time for them to be able to sit outside. Let's go. And it's been what, rain, drizzle, and
Wind.
It's been a few days, last few days, a lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of that type of wet, damp weather. But on a beautiful day like today, we can see the sun is starting to pierce from the clouds there as well. The people are out here, they're smiling, they're having fun. You can hear the music in the background.
The level of tourism that this attracts, individuals from neighboring communities who come down here and enjoy the amenities that we've got here on Water Street. This is incredible. It's a genuine joy to see it open again.
How nice is it to finally see the sun?
Well, it's unbelievable, actually. We're like, I don't know, that strange object in the sky.
I'm coming back to visit for the summer, and being able to come back and actually enjoy the outdoors is a huge thing for me.
It's the way to do it, right? We don't need that many cars. I think walking is fantastic, especially when it's nice out like this.
Saw the map, that's the weather will be forecast 3 days will be sun, and I'm feeling so excited, and roaming here and there in downtown is so beautiful. I am so excited.
Nice for dogs, eh?
It is. That's what I love about it. You can actually come down and walk here, and there's no cars going around you, you know what I mean? Instead of the regular when you were just walking on the sidewalk, so.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say about the lack of rain, drizzle, and fog?
It's so nice. I hope our summer is actually here to stay now.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Alfie?
Yeah. He's a yeah.
Great. Just the atmosphere, the people, everything, all the stores was fantastic.
So nice. I feel like summer is finally here. Winter is over. And there's just such a great sense of community. I really love it. Just sitting here watching everybody. I walk home from work usually, and with the rain in my face and everything, it was horrible. So to see some sun is just amazing. I'm so happy about it.
Time for a check of your full weather forecast. Again, Ryan Snodden in for Ashley this evening. And as we look at the temperatures across eastern Canada, you can see where the warm air has been surging up across the Great Lakes and, yes, into Newfoundland and Labrador. Finally, some warmth even pushing as far east as St. John's. Beautiful day today, of course, and yeah, we are looking at those showers that have been underway in Labrador. Couple of spits of showers are rolling across the southeast of Newfoundland over the last couple of hours, but very isolated. Certainly some of that cloud cover building up, but overall a lovely day as this area of high pressure keeps us bright and dry and warm, and that is going to continue to be the case as we work our way into Friday. Note the showers that will be underway overnight and into Friday for Labrador and across the northern peninsula as well. But Newfoundland looking nice and dry yet again on Friday. And again, this southerly flow on the south side of this front will keep temperatures quite mild tonight. Will range from around 11 to 15 degrees. Pretty nice temperature-wise. Will be as mild as 17 in Labrador City, yet 3 in Nain. So that frontal boundary right there across Labrador, no question. And you can see it in the forecast for tomorrow. 7 in Nain, high teens in through Happy Valley Goose Bay, 25 in Labrador City, just 11 in Cartwright, 10 in St. Anthony. And yes, we'll be near 30 degrees for Gander and Grand Falls, Windsor tomorrow. Central parts of the island towards Terra Nova as well, Clarenville, high 20s. And then, yeah, across the Avalon, we'll be comfortable, 23, 24 degrees in through the St. John's metro area, likely even a little bit warmer into the interior. Now, as we look into the winds, though, we will see some pretty gusty winds, upwards of 50, even 70 kilometers per hour for eastern parts of Newfoundland with those westerly winds. That frontal boundary, again, will have the winds racing. Now, as we look into Saturday, we'll see showers lingering for Labrador as the center of this low comes through. Newfoundland, though, staying pretty favorable for the Saturday forecast. We'll see 22 in St. John's, 30 degrees again. Gander and Grand Falls, Windsor towards Corner Brook. Note the clouds and, yes, likely some lingering fog along that south coast. St. Albans, Burgeo, you know where we'll see that fog just lingering right along that coastline. Even the southern Avalon, Argentia down towards Trepassey, we'll be seeing the fog patches lingering along the coast with this type of a warm, moist setup. Now, showers you can see on tap for Labrador on Saturday with this low coming through. Into the Sunday time period, as that low starts to depart off to the east, we're going to be seeing some moisture funneling up into that front. And so we'll really increase the shower chances for Sunday. Even some rumbles of thunder not out of the question in this line that's going to be working its way in from the south. High pressure settling in on the other side of this frontal boundary into Labrador on Sunday. And so that will at least bring the possibility of some of those sunny breaks back into the mix for Sunday. So let's break down the next 5. You can see next couple of days, A++ for St. John's and the Avalon. Temperatures ranging between in those low 20s. Could see, though, inland areas as warm as 25 degrees. Showers for Sunday into Monday, and yes, a cool down on the other side of that front, but it does look like we'll get back into at least a possibility of some sun by Tuesday. Into the 5-day forecast for Central, and again, near 30 the next couple of days. Those showers rolling in on Sunday, as I mentioned earlier, could hear a rumble of thunder with that as well. Temperatures will then start to fade off a little bit on Monday, but not too bad. You can see Friday into Saturday, very nice along the west coast. And again, possibility of some of that wildfire smoke working its way in there. So a heads up on that for the next couple of days for northwestern parts of Newfoundland in particular. Showers on tap for Sunday. And then into Labrador, as we mentioned, we'll be seeing those showers for Friday into Saturday. As that area of high pressure kind of settles into the region, a better chance that we'll get back into some sunshine for Sunday and even into Monday, Tuesday with those temperatures starting to rebound. That is supposed to be +10, by the way. No -10s on the menu. And yes, that is also supposed to say +16 for Western Labrador for overnight lows. It does look quite mild again for next week. And you can see those temperatures nicely into the 20s with the sunshine reappearing as we work our way into Sunday and Monday. That is your forecast now.
Well, today is the last day of classes for students across Newfoundland and Labrador. School is out for the summer, but as classes end, so too does access to the school lunch program. Joining me now is the Executive Director, John Finn, of the school lunch program. So can you give us a sense of how big this program is and how many students avail of it?
Yes, thanks, Carolyn. So currently we operate in 41 schools throughout Newfoundland and Labrador, primarily in the Northeast Avalon with a couple of schools in Clarenville and the Gander region. This year our program was available to some 15,000 students, which roughly equates to about 20%, 25% of the student population in the province.
What does this program mean for so many of those students?
Well, operating as a charity with a pay-what-you-can model, this program is extremely important to each and every household and child that can take advantage of the program, offering a non-stigmatizing program in the sense that your family has no idea how much money I paid for their lunch or vice versa. So it provides children with a level playing field, in addition to the most important fact, which is a hot, nutritious lunch.
Yeah, and how important is that for students in school to have their bellies full? What does that mean for learning?
Well, I mean, like anyone, if you're hungry, you're probably not in a good mood and not probably functioning on all cylinders. So we're talking about mental health, overall well-being, physical health, and the whole nutrition piece that some children, this might be the only meal they get for the day, and it happens in a school setting.
Now that we're into the summer months and some of those students, it may be their only meal for the day that they would get in school, what happens with those children now?
Well, over the summer, I know there's a lot of great charitable programs and nonprofit organizations in the province that assist during the summer months. For us, we do our part where we can during the school year, but at the end of every school year, and even as we wrap up before Christmas or Easter, any leftover milk, produce, we donate these things to folks like the Community Food Sharing Association or the various community groups throughout the city and throughout the province. So we do our part, and I know the Kids Eat Smart program does a great job as well, helping some of these groups throughout the summer.
And what is the plan for the School Lunch Association? Like, how, I'm sure you're looking to expand to help more students. What's your goal?
Very fortunate to speak with your colleague Adam Walsh earlier on the Signal, the radio show, and we were talking all about a national school food program and what does that look like. So our organization is just one of about 245, I believe, across the country, lobbying the federal government to move forward with a national school food program. It's something that was in federal ministers' mandate letters to do so. There's a huge need there. This type of program can't be left to parents to pay for, donors to help, and the province to provide funding. There's a much bigger solution that needs to happen, and we believe that the federal government has a role to play.
And this is something you're going to be lobbying for?
Something we have been lobbying for and will continue with our counterparts across the country. The challenges in Newfoundland and Labrador are not unique to Newfoundland and Labrador. So when you're talking about feeding children in rural areas and how do you get there, and what does that school infrastructure look like, it's no different in rural Saskatchewan or rural Manitoba. So leaving it to the province to address on their own is not really a solution, and Canada is one of the only G7 countries that does not have a national school food program.
Well, John Finn, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today and over the past few days. This afternoon,
We return to Boston to hear more from today's tragic update on the search for the Titan submersible. From rescue to recovery mission, that's ahead. A tragic turn today in the search for the missing submersible Titan. Rescue crews found debris from the sub near the wreckage site of the Titanic. All 5 men on board the craft are now considered lost at sea. Here's more from today's news conference in Boston.
This morning, an ROV, or remote operated vehicle, from the vessel Horizon Arctic discovered the tail cone of the Titan submersible approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic on the seafloor. The ROV subsequently found additional debris. In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them, and I hope that this discovery provides some solace during this difficult time. Additionally, we've been in close contact with the British and French consuls general to ensure that they are fully apprised and that their concerns are being addressed. The outpouring of support in this highly complex search operation has been robust and immensely appreciated. We are grateful for the rapid mobilization of experts on the undersea search and rescue, and we thank all of the agencies and personnel for their role in the response. We're also incredibly grateful for the full spectrum of international assistance that's been provided. The ROVs will remain on scene and continue to gather information. Again, our most heartfelt condolences go out to the loved ones of the crew. So this is an incredibly complex operating environment on the seafloor, over 2 miles beneath the surface. And so the remote operating vehicle has been searching, and it is highly capable. And we've been able to classify parts of the pressure chamber for the Titan submersible.
Essentially, we found 5 different major pieces of debris that told us that it was the remains of the Titan. The initial thing we found was the nose cone, which was outside of the pressure hull. We then found a large debris field. Within that large debris field, we found the front end bell of the pressure hull. That was the first indication that there was a catastrophic event. Shortly thereafter, we found a second smaller debris field. Within that debris field, we found the other end of the pressure hull, the aft end bell, which was basically comprised of the totality of that pressure vessel. We continue to map the debris field, and as the Admiral said, we will do the best we can to fully map out what's down there.
What are the prospects for recovering crew members? And so this is an incredibly unforgiving environment down there on the seafloor. And the debris is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel. And so we'll continue to work and continue to search the area down there, but I don't have an answer for prospects at this time.
So the question is, where does the wreck lie in relation to the Titanic? I didn't hear the Admiral's answer. I think 1,600 feet. Was that correct, Admiral?
Yep, you got it.
So that's off the bow of Titanic. It's in an area where there is not any debris of Titanic. It is a smooth bottom. To my knowledge and anything I've seen, there's no Titanic wreckage in that area. And again, 200 plus meters from the bow, and consistent with the location of last communication for an implosion in the water column. And the size of the debris field is consistent with that implosion in the water column.
What happens from here? What's the next phase? And so right now, again, our thoughts are with the families and making sure that they have an understanding as best as we can provide of what happened and begin to find some closure. In terms of the large process, we're going to continue to investigate the site of the debris field. And then I know that there's also a lot of questions about how, why, and when did this happen. And so, those are questions that we will collect as much information as we can on now, while the governments are meeting and discussing what an investigation of this nature of a casualty might look like. This is something that happened, I'll just remind everybody, this is something that happened in a remote portion of the ocean with people from several different countries around the world. And so it is a complex case to work through, but I'm confident that those questions will begin to get answered.
A very sad outcome for sure. Well, now to some news from the oil and gas sector in this province. Energy giant BP has confirmed it's abandoning the exploration of its Ephesus well, located in a marine refuge around 400 kilometers off the coast of Newfoundland. Now, the company released a statement saying, in part, operations continue at the Ephesus exploration well with our focus on completing the drilling program. Currently, we are in the process of plugging and abandoning the well as per plan. Now, there's been plenty of buzz in the energy sector about the potential of the projected multi-billion-barrel well. This is another blow for an industry which recently saw Equinor delay the Bay du Nord project for 3 years. But there has also been controversy surrounding the Ephesus well, which is located in a marine refuge. The Sierra Club has raised environmental concerns about the project. Gretchen Fitzgerald of the Sierra Club says this news is a relief.
I guess my first reaction was concern that something was happening that, could be a safety or an environmental, concern. And I've been assured that that's not the case. So that was my first response. They are drilling in water deeper than a kilometer, so 1,300 meters down, very far offshore. So we know that a spill out there would be virtually impossible to clean up. So yeah, that was my immediate concern, and of course concern for the safety of people, and it sounds like that's not the case. So then I after taking a deep breath, yes, I guess I am somewhat relieved. I'm still very, very concerned that our government is allowing BP to drill in an area that's supposedly set aside for protection of sensitive ocean life, like deep sea corals and sea pens. So I remain alarmed that was even allowed to take place. And of course, what they are doing, extracting new oil and gas, puts all of us at risk in terms of climate impacts. So it's an extremely risky activity, and I think the fact that they're right now abandoning this particular well shows it's also extremely risky economically. And
Have a look at this. We're bringing you up close and personal with the massive, beautiful iceberg off Western Bay near Ochre Pit Cove. Videographer Danny Arsenault took this video this morning. Wow, what a huge Iceberg, just gorgeous with that little archway there. Looks like a number one when you look at it from that angle a little bit. Great shots. Thank you so much for that, Danny. Friends of Omar Mohammed say he was the man killed in a police shooting in St. John's this month, but the police watchdog CERT hasn't confirmed it. Mohammed moved to Newfoundland from Sudan nearly a decade ago. 3 representatives of the province's Sudanese Community Association sat down with the CBC's Rob Antle this afternoon to speak about their concerns.
Why are you here today, and what message do you want to send about what happened last week?
Yeah, we're here first to express our concern and our frustration from what happened to one of our brothers, which is part of our Sudanese community. And we would like to see justice served, and also we would like to have an answer, because we are very surprised about what happened, and we are very concerned. We are also concerned about how the police is dealing with certain black people, maybe if there is some of racism here, you know.
You said you're looking for answers. What answers do you have so far about what happened?
Yeah, we don't have any answer. All we have is just he went to get his check from some building, somebody called police on him, and then the police come and then they announce him like dead or they shoot him. And even we don't know what is happening, why they shoot him, you know.
What have you done as a community to try to get answers? Who have you spoken with and when? And
yeah, we as a community, we developed 4 people to present the community and go to speak to the police. We went to the RNC office, and unfortunately they give us a number. They said, just call certain number, and we called certain number, and we spoke to them and we told them we are here, we are concerned about what happened to one of our community, and we told them that we need to know more about what happened, and we also told them that we have information about his uncle, and we passed that information to them. But they told us, sorry, we are very busy now with the other important case. So, and they say, we will get back to you. And they took my name, my phone number, and they said, we will get back and have a discussion. But since then, we haven't heard from them.
what do you want to see happen now?
We need justice to be served. We need to have more information. And also we need those officers to be accountable. Like we need a thorough investigation to determine why this is happening. And we need justice to be served, and we need some answer.
احنا بنرسل رسالة مثلا رسالة للشرطة مباشرة.
It should be justice, and also it should be transparency. He's saying now when most of the Sudanese community heard about this killing, they are now more afraid, more concerned. And he said most of people here come from a war zone. They think in Canada is a safe place to live, but now they are experiencing what they are already escaped from, you know.
They think this Canada, like this is safe countries. So they will come here and then see some problems like he always seen in his country. So that is we didn't need. So this we need like serious investigation.
Now, CERT, the police watchdog, says it won't identify the deceased until it has properly notified next of kin or exhausted all possible avenues to do so, but confirmed yesterday that the deceased was a new Canadian. CERT says that a full report will be made public at the conclusion of its investigation or court proceeding. Just 1 month until the start of the FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Canada's team has been very vocal about the need for better pay and compensation before heading to the tournament. As we hear from Lindsay Duncombe, athletes want the issue settled so it's not a distraction.
Canada hopes these first drills could be building blocks to World Cup victory.
I think just to make sure that, we're hitting the ground running, we have to make sure that we're practicing all these little nuances to make sure that we're the team that's hoisting that trophy at the end of the tournament.
Julia Grosso from Vancouver.
Canada is the 7th ranked team in the world and reigning Olympic champions, but players expect a long, tough fight.
We've seen a lot of wins recently from Canadian players who play in Europe in particular, so they're coming in hot from those leagues, so it'll be really good to see.
Canada has talent. Julia Grosso named the best midfielder in the Italian League. Kaylin Sheridan, the best goalkeeper in the American National Women's Soccer League, led, of course, by Christine Sinclair, who has scored more international goals than any other soccer player on earth.
With goal number 185.
But the team faces a formidable group stage, including a match against home team Australia and superstar striker Sam Kerr. Outside the group, the American squad is ranked number 1 and no doubt bent on revenge after Canada crushed USA's dreams of Olympic gold. There's fighting off the pitch, too. In an interview with the Canadian press, Captain Christine Sinclair said outstanding issues with Canada soccer need to be settled fast. We're not at a point where we're not getting on a plane, but time's coming where we want it done, she said.
They're still waiting to hear about funding and equal pay, but they've also haven't been given a send-off game. So I think overall, the Canadian soccer has let them down.
That criticism comes as a recent study reveals a lot of countries may be letting their women footballers down. It found just 40% of participants in the World Cup consider themselves professional, as in they get paid to play, and 66% say they had to take time off of another job to play in the World Cup. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Vancouver.
Well, check your change for a new colorful commemorative coin. The toonie went into circulation yesterday to mark National Indigenous Peoples Day. For the first time, 3 different artists collaborated on the design of a single Canadian coin. They represented the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities residing in Canada. There are colored and uncolored versions of the limited edition toonies. Only 2 million loonies have been minted in color. Another million without color are being made. Well, turns out there are a lot of extramarital affairs happening in St. John's, more per capita than any other city in Canada. Now, that's according to Ashley Madison, a controversial dating website specifically for married people looking to meet someone new. A spokesperson says this is the third year in a row that St. John's has had the most users.
The average age of St. John's members on our site is around 34 years old. And this aligns generally with what we see across all markets because our members have lived a bit of life before joining. A lot of them, again, been married, are still married. They've lived with someone long term. So they're just sort of realizing their traditional view maybe of monogamy doesn't really work for them. And so they're exploring something different with a community of people looking for the same.
Well, according to the site, half of St. John's users are connecting with people in the city, while half are messaging people out of province. Now, some local cheating spouses were caught up in a scandal back in 2015, one the whole world was watching. Ashley Madison was part of one of the biggest data breaches in history. We dipped into the Here and Now archives to bring you this report from Zach Gowdy.
Looking for someone other than my wife. Other than my wife. Ashley Madison's right.
Ashley Madison promised users a safe and secret way to break their marriage vows. But now that promise has been broken, and for millions of cheating spouses, their secret is out. On Tuesday, a hacker group called the Impact Team published the names, email addresses, and home addresses of nearly 37 million Ashley Madison users. This map, created by the Daily Mail UK, shows the locations of those users as revealed by the leaked data. As you can see, Ashley Madison has more than a few customers in Newfoundland and Labrador. The Impact Team has been threatening to publish the data since July unless the operator of the site, Canadian-owned Avid Life Media, took Ashley Madison offline. Avid Life Media refused. This is the second largest breach of private consumer data in history and almost certainly the most embarrassing. Many Ashley Madison users sign up with fake names and email addresses that can't be traced, but some sign up with their real names and emails they use at work or at home. Now, tools to quickly search the published data are popping up online. Just type in an email address and you can instantly see if it was being used on Ashley Madison. These sites are now swamped with traffic as millions of panicked cheaters and suspicious spouses check to see who has been caught. Just because an email address shows up in the data doesn't necessarily mean that person was having an affair. Again, many people sign up with fake email addresses or email addresses that don't belong to them. Others sign up with their real email out of curiosity, just to get a look inside the site. And still others sign up with the intention of having an affair, but never actually carried it out. However, no matter the intent, if you signed up for Ashley Madison, the email you used is now forever associated with the site. And that's potentially not all. The hackers claim to have stolen not just names and email addresses, but users' private conversations, lists of sexual preferences, and nude photos. So far, those have not been released. Zach Gowdy, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, that's quite the note to end the show on tonight. Back from 2015. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll continue to follow the latest on the recovery of Titan. Of course, still so many questions to be answered on that, and you can always check out the latest on our website, cbc.ca/nl. Well, that's it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.